born ready.
I was born ready, and with that sentence, we start the semi-finals, ladies and gentlemen, of the Swiss Masters Magic. Other way around, Swiss Magic Masters Legacy. It is the semi-finals. What do we have? Do you know? Let's see.
If I tilt my head, I can read.
Oh, I know. It's Lorenzo. It's Lance against. What is it? We should have somewhere. You don't have.
Thoughtseize Lightning Bolt seems like
some Grixis.
Grixis Delver.
Grixis Delver Dragoman. Something I haven't seen a lot. Do you like the show?
I think it's the only Grixis deck in the tournament, actually.
Yeah, interesting, because it was very strong for a long time. The Grixis colors, right? Or like coming on and off.
Well, it was the UR Delver Shell splashing for death, right?
Yeah. Okay. Right. Right.
Is that Grixis?
Right. I guess that's right. And they play some Thoughtseizes, and then just
I guess they played Thoughtseize as well, but
maybe a Colligan's Command or something. But yeah, you're right. But there was a time when like there was always like the Rock versus the Grixis Delvers, but I think that was only during Death Red times. No. And then after that, there was still the Grixis Control shell.
Grixis Control was a thing for a really long time. I don't know why it has vanished, actually. I think it's
completely
still...
right?
It hasn't lost anything, right?
No, since Death Red time, I don't feel so. And it could be...
And Baleful Strix still seems really good.
Still a strong card, right?
It can play Murktide Region if it wants to.
Right. I felt like a lot of black decks dropped after a extreme popularity of Whale of Summer. Like when Whale of Summer was printed, there was a certain time after it. Not immediately, but
everybody was really hyped because
I get to Cryptic Command for 1 mana. I'm amazing. And
then people started to figure out that it's often just 1 mana draw 1.
Yeah, exactly. And doesn't do that much. But
it does a lot, but it's not. It's very situational.
Yes, I agree. It's quite complicated to really integrate it into your plan while doing something. Your deck plan. And yeah, Hymn to Torok also faded a bit away. I thought always it was because of Whale of Summer simply, but I'm not 100% sure if that's the only reason. And all the Liliana decks as well. This is kind of most decks aren't playing any Lilianas anymore in Legacy, apart from like Pox and maybe Agrolone. But I don't see it get played outside of that. What do you think about Liliana of the Whale? Is it just not good anymore in Legacy, or are there not the decks for it in Legacy? Same for Hymn to Turok a bit, right? Those cards really faded away, I feel like.
Yeah, I am guessing it's because Blue-Red Delver is so dominant, and those cards kind of are slow and very susceptible to Wasteland Days.
Right. You don't want to fetch double swamp in a tricolor deck, right?
Yeah, you don't. And typically you can't deal with the important threats of the Delver deck with a Liliana anymore. Can deal with Ragavan, but he already attacked twice when Liliana comes down.
That's true.
DRC is likely to be a 3/3 at this point. Murktide is out of reach. Delver is out of reach.
Right.
So it's good against elves. It's okay against Baleful Strix, I guess.
Right.
But it doesn't seem to have the impact it's supposed to. Alright, and we have a match on our hand. I don't know who is on the play and who is on the draw.
Yeah, it's according to seatings, I think.
I think
it's a mirror. No, that's Lorenzo.
I think being on the play matters a lot for the Delver deck because he needs to apply pressure as long as he has the chance to. And if he's on the draw, and he might have 2 days on turn 1 for like a Valakut exploration or something, he can get far behind. So he's very happy to be on the play here.
I agree. let's see if he has a 1-drop. Or, I mean, he definitely has one since he's fetching. What do you think? Ponder, Ragavan, DRC, Delver?
I don't think we have seen
Brainstorm?
a single Ragavan on screen today, right? We were talking about this card all day and we haven't seen it in
Didn't
play.
Ellie play a Ragavan? No, he never had a Ragavan, did he? Ooh, DRC. There it is.
Even better.
There is the metagame, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how the Lance player deals with it. An easy wasteland and go. It is a good plan usually against Delver. They only play 18 lands max, I think.
So Ragavan is at its strongest in like the blue mirror matches because you actually want to cast the cards you draw.
Right.
Like you're happy to flip a Ponder or a Brainstorm or some kind of removal spell.
Yeah.
But in the lands matchup, well, first of all, there's a ton of lands which you're going to hit with Ragavan. And
which you can't
cast with Ragavan. And the other cards don't do that much for you. Like, what's an exploration going to add to your game plan? Not much. However, Dragon Rage channel will be very helpful, not only being a fast clock, but also selecting or surveilling cards away you don't want, like Lightning Bolt.
Yes. Or in that case, a Wasteland hidden one. It's very powerful in those decks, right? Where you play a lot of cheap essence and sorceries, and just mill yourself, give it delirium, or find exactly what you want.
So apparently we have some kind of
technical
freeze
issue.
So we get to see the resolution of Thoughtseize.
Alright, we should be back.
Valakut exploration for a long time.
Right.
Well, nothing significant has happened since, so we are good to go again.
Perfect. DRC getting in for one. That feels a bit like Delver of Secrets, though, no? Doesn't it? Do you like Delver as a card? There are some people that say Delver never really was a good card.
As from a design perspective, or from
no,
level?
from an actual power level play perspective.
Well, they're obviously wrong, statistically wrong. No, Delver is a great card.
It's a good card, but you know the moments where it doesn't flip and you have like this 1/1 for 3 turns, and then you lose the game without having done anything.
That's just not a valid argument. Like many cards do nothing if they're not in a specific circumstance, right?
Yeah, so that's probably true.
You have all the tools to enable the card.
True. But still, like I have been frustrated myself about Delvers not flipping and like them being not that bad. But maybe there's also just a point of people overvaluing the card and asking things of it which they shouldn't. Talking of 1-drops, there's a beautiful exploration coming now. And
playing around days as well.
Yes.
Being patient.
Yes, very much so.
So his hand is still a Valakut exploration, which he will likely play around days as well, if he can. If he has the time to do so.
I agree.
And if he sticks a Valakut exploration, he can just start accelerating in card advantage, but he eventually needs to find those Maze of Ifs or the second combo piece for the 2020 Marinuzzi.
Right.
Can you check the deck list from the Grixis Delver player to see if there's any solution for the Marinuzzi main deck? Or is Wasteland...
Well, he just pitched the Brazen Borrower.
Oh, yeah, so he
does. I think there may be another one. I'm honestly not sure. I think he's desperately digging for a land. Do you know where we have the deck lists? Crazy.
Alright, so we have 4 Lightning Bolts, which don't do much. 4 Murktide, 2 Brazen Borrowers. So there is another one, and he decided that all the other cards in his hand mattered more. So I don't think he's too worried about the combo at the moment. He did saw the hand of Lorenzo, so he knows what's going on and what he has to deal with.
Right.
And he does have a Wasteland, which obviously is
really
a
good.
tremendous help against a combo.
And now he should have. Does he have Delirium? I'm not sure if there's an instant. We're gonna find out in a minute. Yeah,
There's
he has
definitely
Delirium.
an instant, but is that a Murktide Regent?
Yeah, there's a Murktide Regent, and there's
So he
for
has
sure
Delirium,
sorcery
yeah.
and land. Okay,
So-
so he has Delirium.
All he has to do now is not die, basically.
Yep, and not lose his Dragon's Rage Channeler. Because I think deploying. Ooh, that's so good. That's so good.
He's going to get there in like 2 turns again, right? So
Yeah, for sure. But
it does buy him some time to get to Valakut Exploration
and
some
other cards while playing around Days, although he doesn't have it, his opponent. I was really sure he would have found land. And he has another Ponder. And that's some red card.
I think it's a Ragavan.
Probably. Which he can cast.
Or a second PRC.
And he has a Bolt and a Force in hand, I think. So what do you want to find? Do you really want to find? I think you want the land, right? Because if there's one otherwise land, you just...
Actually, I think the cards you're looking for most are Brainstorm to get rid of both Force and Lightning Bolt.
Right.
And the cards you want are
that includes a fetch land, though, if you want to get rid of them, right?
No, you have the RC. You can put
yeah,
them
well,
on top
yeah,
of the
okay, but then
library
other
and then-
spells in order
yeah,
to actually
of
get rid
course.
of it, right? Okay.
So you probably want a second threat in case there's a Maze of Ith or Punishing Fire.
Yeah.
But he's happy to just wait and disrupt, and the best disruptive spells he has at the moment are probably Wasteland.
Yeah, let's see. If there's a... Oh, there's a Mox down.
Good draw, because it allows him to play Valakut Exploration around Days if he chooses to do so.
Or go
he can
full greedy mode and cast it at 2 play.
cast it, get the landfall trigger to immediately draw a card. Or mill a card, which is almost the same.
Yeah, and he goes for the not greedy. Oh, it's just a straight up answer as well to his Dragon's Rage channel.
Yeah.
Let's see what he decides to do.
So he does find the one of tools to slow down the game of the Delver player, which is all you really need as the Lance player, because your late game is going to be so much better.
Right.
And he opts to go for the exploration, playing around Days.
I like that choice.
Yeah.
You don't need to crack it yet. You're not under so much pressure, you're still at 13 life. If this doesn't get answered, and you require a Force of Will here, basically, right? So
it does kind of telegraph that the last card in hand is a land, though.
Does it?
Yeah, because if it's not a land, the exploration does
Doesn't
potentially nothing on the
maybe,
next turn,
maybe he
so I
knows
play
it,
around
right?
Days.
Because like he saw with Thoughtseize, maybe he knows the land which is still there. I wouldn't recall which land was it actually. Brainstorm? Yeah.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
That
What a
will
beautiful card.
allow him to get rid of the lightning bolt. Although, if he does get Delirium this turn, playing one or
might
two
want
lightning
lightning
bolt
bolts.
is actually kind of a game plan.
Right. And he finds a bunch of forces. Does this work? No, right. Alright. He has Murktide, Force of Will, Lightning Bolt, and a fetch land now.
He straight up opts to not bother with the lightning bolt, so he wants to have some disruption, play Murktide Regent.
He still
Getting
can
the
decide though,
damage.
right?
Yeah. But Days is likely not going to matter at this conjuncture, so I presume he keeps it as a pitch card for the Force of Will.
Okay.
Which means he intends to actually cast the Murktide Regent.
But when? Where are we? Are we in his main phase, right?
Yes. I'm impressed that the Lance player is very safely and in a comfortable spot, even though he doesn't have life from the low.
Yep.
But it's also thanks to drawing 2 one-offs, which both help slow down the game considerably.
Yeah, and I mean he even drew a Caracas as well, but he like this would have been a good answer to other decks, right? E.g.
Yeah, or if it was a
Animator or something.
Ragavan instead of a
Yes, definitely.
PRC.
That's true. That's yeah. Funny thing about Magic, right? And sometimes you have these draws which just line up perfectly with what your opponent drew, and sometimes you just completely don't.
I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it was just like Jukabok is not intended for this matchup particularly, and all it did was take 2 damage off the clock each turn. But it still matters, right?
Yeah, I mean that's 4 damage now, right? He would be at 6, which is lethal next turn if he keeps the bolt
range,
right?
which is
exactly.
always something you have to keep in mind as the lens player in this kind of situation.
Yes, for sure. And
did you see what the exploration? Oh, it was the Tabernacle.
There's a Tabernacle which you couldn't play, I think, right?
Yeah.
Which is a shame for him, but what is that?
It's still fine. It's filling up the grave for future Life from the Loam action.
Yeah, and he can easily get it back, right?
At some point, he will be forced to crack that.
Do you agree with the main phase fetch from the Delver player? I thought I would have waited until my upkeep, or like at least until
to kind of play around Wasteland.
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense.
He takes his life total and now has a 5/5 flyer. It's a 2-turn clock. Let's see if there's a Maze of It or a Field of the Dead is there.
That's not going to help, but
there's an exploration.
Certainly is if he does have another land in his hand. Perfect. And another land for the graveyard, it appears.
I can play it down, huh?
No, he's played Field of the Dead to trigger.
Oh, sorry, you're right.
But basically, any time he top decks a land and exiles another land, he's going to be very happy about it. But he really needs to find Life from the Loam or Maze of Ith rather as soon as humanly possible.
Well, yeah, by this turn.
Yes.
First Federation. Generate some value while you have the mana. There's a Borrower. And I don't know what else. Looked like Submerged, but that couldn't be.
So Lorenzo has a few outs. He has Maze of Ith, or he could just straight up draw into the combo and get a flying 20/20. But with the presence of Brazen Borrower in the Delver player's hands,
this doesn't really help.
This severely limits the options of Lorenzo. And I think it's not very likely that he's going to recover against this Murktide.
No.
Oh, there is a Loam. Interesting.
That was the card he was looking for. Which just gets forced. Yeah, if he's... Why wouldn't you, right?
No,
why wouldn't you? Alright, pretty clean game from Lurid Delver. Lands didn't go nuts or anything. They had some answers, but it wasn't sufficient.
I think kind of waiting. I think he was kind of too patient. I mean, obviously he was unlucky that he didn't find a crop rotation for a Maze of Ith or a Maze of Ith. And Life from the Loam was really late to join the party. But at the same time, I feel like he could have been a lot more aggressive he could have cracked the blast zone a lot sooner to kind of protect his life total. And he also chose to be greedy on the Valakut exploration by wasting kind of land drop and playing around days, which he didn't need to. He obviously can't know that, but in hindsight, that might have cost him actually the game.
Possibly, very possibly,
because that shaves one turn off and finds him another card. because of the additional landfall trigger.
Right.
But it's always really hard to say when you're in the game and you're trying to be cautious.
Yeah, and then it's what we discussed before, right? And like this if you start playing around everything, you kind of end up not doing anything, and that's probably often not the right choice. You have to take like a certain amount of risk in order to do it.
Sometimes being greedy is the safest option.
Yes, yeah, I think so actually. Make people have it, like make people have the answer or have the combo in order to kill you.
And he thought he was pretty safe with a blast zone, but obviously Murktide Regent doesn't really have a solution in the land stack.
Goes definitely
from
over the top. And we have for sideboarding two very, very juicy true name Nemesis.
Nemesis.
Nemesi? You say Nemesi? Nemesis.
I don't actually know.
Right. We have two true names. And probably in a braid, I would probably bring it in. Thoughtseize on the play, maybe. Surgicals for sure. The whole blast thing we don't need. Meltdown, no, but Caracas for sure. He plays. Is it a Caracas? I think it is Caracas. Yeah. So one Caracas, two true names, and a braid. You would bring in a braid against Moxon and stuff? No. Yes.
Probably not.
Okay. Leave out your braid.
It depends if you expect something like Python Needle. So
No, you wouldn't, would you? Like against Wasteland or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think Lorenzo is running the Saga version as well, so
that's true. So maybe the Meltdown could be very juicy as well.
Could be.
Killing a few Moxon and a bunch of Saga tokens. But you probably, like, there's the point, right? You don't want the game to get to that state, like you've lost already when you're there.
So the key card in the sideboard is, I mean, True Name Nemesis is very nice and all.
Yeah, very underplay card, by the way, I think.
But the key card for the matchup is Surgical Extraction. So you want to get rid of Life from the Loam because the card advantage can become suffocating in the long run.
Yeah, and if you can stop that.
Because you can't, I mean, you can counter it once, maybe twice. And if you have enough pressure, that is enough.
Right.
But you can't counter it forever. So you really need to find a permanent solution for it.
Yes.
And Surgical Extraction is basically in the sideboard for this matchup, mostly.
Well, and Reanimator and stuff, but
yeah.
I agree. Right, for...
Do we see any cycling lands to protect the Life from the Loam from the
I don't think so. I think this has fallen out of favor a lot. To have the one of Baron Moor or Tranquil Thicket.
Yeah, so the deck, instead of leaning on Life from the Loam as heavily as it used in the past, it's relying on the card advantage and selection from Valakut Exploration and Crop Rotation to assemble the combo, even if Life from the Loam gets exiled.
Right, and before we were really stuck on Life from the Loam engine, and does play the cycle lands to get not only a dredge loam each turn, but then also to draw cards, which because sometimes you needed to find cards which were not lands, which is
yes. So the advantage of the cycling lands is that it's really good against counter magic, but because I presume because the creatures have become so aggressive, like Ragavan, Murktide Regent, they put on a really fast clock. So I guess that is the reasoning behind why it's faded out of popularity.
I'm absolutely not sure. I always thought as well, like lands really preys on not having to play through counter magic. Like to a certain extent, of course it sucks. Like you have to play exploration and it sucks if it gets countered, but Valakut Exploration is so much more playing into days, spell pierces, etc. that I was really surprised. I mean, it's a busted card in the deck, obviously, but it still plays to. It's not this I don't care if you counter anything anymore deck, I feel like. But yeah, correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, you still play the full set of Life from the Loam and you still have the engine.
Right.
So you don't really lose anything. It's just Valakut Exploration is a card on top of the entire
on top
resiliency
engine, right.
to counter magic.
Right. Yeah, they used to play sometimes Horizon Canopy or something like this as well, right? To just work out. Well, anyway, for the sideboard, they have mostly 2 Pyroblasts and 2 Red Blasts. I don't see anything else coming in particularly. Maybe a Pithing Needle for the Wasteland that was just used on... Ooh, beautiful. Ragavan connecting the first time today. How
Amazing.
are you feeling? How are you feeling?
Yippee!
Right. Does he want to cast a crop rotation off his treasure?
I want to ban this card. I'm just kidding.
There's a treasure. He could go mana, crop, do whatever. No, he doesn't want to crop at all.
Just put a card into the graveyard though.
That's true. But I think he's gonna get there anyway. Let's see. He has the Caracas. Yeah, he boarded that in for sure.
I'm pretty sure that is a Murktide Regent in Janosh's hand, so putting an extra card into the graveyard for free basically can be valuable.
This.
He's opting to...
He's super greedy.
He could also just tutor for a wasteland, you know. He doesn't.
Oh, that would be amazing. Actually,
he doesn't play any any spells for the foreseeable future because he's out of colored mana. Oh, he does have Ragavan though.
He keeps and he keeps the Caracas in hand. If you're gonna tutor for a wasteland,
I think it is greedy, but it is the right play here.
It is amazingly strong,
because
no?
you already have 2 threats on the battlefield, and Lorenzo has 0 permanents at the end of all is said and done.
Yeah, he didn't have an exploration turn 1, so why would he?
And Ragavan is very likely to keep connecting for at least two more turns, so he will get treasures, and he does have cards to refill his hand.
Yeah, I would have gone for expressive iteration there, so that you could still all do it, apart from the Dragon's Rage Chandler. But maybe that was dumb. That would be dumb.
It all depends on Lorenzo's hand, but this might have been a complete blowout.
It was probably. Right.
We'll see.
And the Wasteland. Hello. Luckily, he doesn't have any land in play.
But he does have an important land in hand.
He does, but he won't play it until there's a Merit Blades, right? He doesn't need to.
He might need to if Merit Lage is being put on the battlefield at the end of turn.
Yeah.
Tabernacle in the grave. Well, Tabernacle would have been the perfect draw.
Yes.
That is actually an issue with the play that
Janosh
went
but
for. I didn't even
you can't count on one-offs to be drawn, right? And I mean, he's quite happy and says, waste me, wasteland me. If you don't have another land, waste me.
Yeah.
Lost Zone, ooh. Quite a bit away. I think...
He does play Ancient Tomb, though.
That's true. That is... Ooh, there's a color land. What do you think about Snuff Out? Why is that still in this deck? Would you have cut it?
What are you talking about?
Snuff Out.
Snuff Out?
Yes, there's a Snuff Out in Janosh's hand.
Why?
I guess because he drew it.
But why?
I don't know.
There's literally only one creature in the land stack, and it is black, so...
And indestructible.
Snuff Out does nothing, right?
I think. Maybe he was expecting, I don't know, Tireless Trackers. But the question is, I guess, what do you board out, right?
So...
Maybe you board that
Lightning Bolt is just straight up better in every single way.
Yeah, I agree.
And you can cast it for DRC triggers on an empty board.
Maybe he didn't like Daze.
I don't get the Snuff Out.
Yeah, maybe he could trigger his own...
He should know Daze is still important in this matchup, even if it's only a pitch card.
Probably. And I mean, still, I don't know, whatever. I'm not sure. Let's find out. He is anyway smashing away at the good old Lance player.
Maybe he... No, he does know the deck list. It's open list.
Yeah.
And there's no Elvish Rejuvenator or something like that, right? So Snuff Out is really weird.
Let's see. He is gonna fetch up a Black Source. Is he?
To enable the Snuff Out?
I hope so. I definitely hope so. No, it's a volcanic. I mean, he has plenty of color. Not plenty, but 2 of any color. Mana. I think there was an expressive iteration in his hand.
Yes.
He should probably be.
Well,
I'm not
knowing
sure.
that the tabernacle is in the graveyard now and he hasn't seen a life from the loam yet,
Funnily
he
enough,
doesn't have to play
the
around it
tabernacle is
anymore.
exiled. It's actually not in the graveyard. Because Ragavan
It's
exiles them, right?
exiled.
So it's even worse.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's likely that he's going to want to play Murktide Regent instead of the expressive
If he
iteration.
can, which he can. Amazing. Yeah, now he has.
Thanks to the crop rotation, I called it.
Yeah. That was really, really, really insane play.
So for
Ancient Tomb or
7,
bust.
9, and Bolt, it's actually lethal next turn.
Wait.
This is what Delver can do, like straight up aggro with 1 or 2 counters to slow you down.
Is it lethal?
I think it is if
he finds delirium, right?
Yeah.
If he finds delirium, it's
otherwise
lethal.
he's still 2 off. Well, Fetchland, he's 1 off.
No, if there's a crop rotation.
Maybe he can exile a spell from his graveyard to trigger the Murktide.
Yeah, that's actually true. It can happen as well.
So imagine if the Snuff Out was a lightning bolt.
Yeah, his opponent would beat up now. Or like right now. What did he draw? It's gonna crack with everything. Ooh, he has a crop rotation. Does he? Is it gonna be Ancient Tomb? Crop rotation into Ancient Tomb crack the thing? Or is it gonna be Maze of it? What do you think?
Chasm?
Glacial Chasm? No, but that puts him back so far, right?
I have no idea what his game plan is at this point.
Oh, that's a somewhat nice plan. Red Elemental Blast.
Does slow down the clock a little bit.
He's taking 3 only. Yeah, that's quite good. It is actually quite good. Exile a Saga with the Ragavan. That's so frustrating for the Landsprite that they go into exile and not into your grave, right? And there is an expressive iteration. You have a trigger. Why didn't you do it first? Maybe you could have grown it, but I guess maybe I don't understand. There is a another DRC. 2 DRCs? Yeah, 2 Dragon Swords Chandlers. I don't know what it is.
I think it's a true name.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's true. 1 in hand, 1 on the bottom. 1 exile, play land, fetch, cost true name.
I like that. That's another clock on the table.
Yeah, true name is so good. Do you think he's underplayed? I think he's underplayed. Like he doesn't see play at all anymore. It's the first deck we see it. Like tonight, it's.
I think if True Name was ever a good card, it's probably now, because most control decks have significantly cut down on the ref type effects.
Yeah.
Because of Prismatic Ending.
Right.
And you cannot cast Prismatic Ending. You can cast Terminus or Council's Judgment to get rid of it, but.
Or Supreme Verdict, or there's several different answers, right? But there's no.
But usually people just play Swords and Prismatic Ending, so True Name is quite good. However, Arrow gains you the same amount of life that True Name Nemesis attacks for, so.
Yeah, but it's not as clunky, right? I mean, it still is clunky, but it's not as clunky. Yes, it's Lances were blue-red. No, it's not blue-red, sorry, it's Grixis Delver. Without Delver, I think. But it's, yeah, you get the point. Would
I
you say?
still,
Go ahead.
I'm still thinking about the snuff out.
No, you're not thinking about it. You're tilting about it,
No,
aren't you?
I'm just confused.
Yeah, me too. But I really think it's maybe for a Dragon's Rage Chandler thing that like you snuff out your own creature, you get a
But Bolt does the same thing, and he can point to the head.
no, yeah, but like you can bolt right your opponent, and then you still can snuff out in the same time. Like it's super efficient. You kill your own creature, you get delirium, you hit for 6 instead for just like 4. I mean, it's super sketchy and iffy, and I don't understand it either. But it's the only way I see it like being good. I think. Come on, argue.
I'm not down.
Okay. I mean, it's. I don't. I think probably the question is, what else do you cut, right? And I think you must have.
By the way, guys,
valued
we
less.
don't have another stream freeze. It's just Lorenzo is deep in the tank, thinking about how he wants to trigger
Win
his
this
blast
game.
zone and proceed to win from there.
Win this.
But True Name Nemesis and the Bolt are likely going to close out reasonably soon.
He boarded in the Abrade, right?
So we
Yeah,
actually
yes.
talked about this matchup, even though it's the first time we are casting it. We have talked about this matchup quite a bit, and we were always like, "Yeah, Lance is really good against Delver,"
And now he's stomping him.
now he's stomping him. So the matchup is it might be slightly Lance favored, but it's no smooth sailing at all. Like that's what I said. Delver does not have a bad matchup.
Right.
It has some slightly unfavorable matchups, but nothing they can't win against because
Yeah,
the
as soon
clock
as you
is so
fumble, they
aggressive.
kill you, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. I think also Lorenzo plays a bit. He plays less dark depths, which is the way you win against Delver fast.
Right.
And he plays only 2 mates of
Only
it,
2 mates, yeah.
which is good against Murktide.
You usually play 4, or what's the?
No, but 3.
Okay.
I think like newer-ish
Versions
but,
play 3. Okay.
Also because it's good against Caldra and
Right.
you have two things which are really hard to handle.
And he doesn't play Gamble to reliably get to that fast
Yeah.
Life from the Loam engine as well. And instead he opts to go for Ursa Saga, which almost does nothing in the matchup.
It's just way too slow, right? Yeah. And I mean, on the other hand, right? He's playing Grixis, so probably he's just playing Snuff Out and Thoughtseize. Is he playing any other black cards? Probably not. So it's blue red Delver with a slight splash, and he's playing True Name, which is really good against lands, which I haven't seen in any of the lists today as well. So he may prepare really well as well for the matchup. But still, it's Delver can win anything.
One factor that helped Lance in this matchup is that most Delver lists have gotten rid of Brazen Borrower, which is really
Strong.
a big change.
Yeah. And this guy's playing 2 Brazen Borrowers
Main,
in the deck.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he does have solutions for the
he's
2020.
really
Oh, there's a
well
Glacial
prepared.
Chasm. Yeah, it's just a like if you go for the combo, it uses a lot of your resources, right, as lands, and then if you can just bounce that token and attack again, then you get a lot of tempo advantage. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So as far as I can tell, there is an Endurance in hand, which is a good blocker against anything that isn't True Name Nemesis. And he does have Life from the Loam in the grave now, right?
I think, and he has an Exploration in hand. Does
So he might keep that Glacial Chasm
flickering too
for
fast.
quite a while.
Most likely.
Which is an answer to...
Well, he's
True
at
Name
6,
Nemesis in the
right? So
short
it's
term.
max 2 turns.
No, he can sacrifice it. He
He's a
doesn't
crop-
have to pay the
He has a
cumulative
crop
upkeep.
rotation and then endurance in hand. I think the green cards.
But there's a bold. Okay, it's gonna be interesting how he sequences this. Yes, he can keep it around for ages, but with some probably minor phases
think-
where it's not active. So there
I
might be
think
bolt
he's-
windows, but not sure.
He's like 1 turn off again from stabilizing.
Yes, most likely.
Probably. I mean, he can potentially stabilize, but he cannot develop his own game plan at the same time.
Yep, I agree. He has to devote all the resources into
Just to
staying alive.
stay alive, yes.
Does he have a Despin stage in graveyard?
I think he has.
Yes, he does.
He has
if he
access
got
to it.
wasted.
If he does, he can
Yeah,
yeah,
almost
just
one.
keep Glacial Castle
Yeah, and
up,
he can copy it.
and
Does he play Vesuva? Like one of? No, right?
no, just that thing. But like that, he can keep it up infinitely.
Yeah, without
Um,
taking
Exactly, without
any
taking
damage. Or paying life, for that matter.
He has to pay for the first keep.
For the first off,
Yeah.
and then he can start doing things. Yeah, but just one wasteland screws over the whole plan, right?
Yeah.
He's not in a position that he can.
No, he's not playing a land around wasteland. Hopefully, that would be pretty bad.
And there we see the wasteland in hand.
Wow, really?
Snuggling alongside the lightning bolt.
And is not bad.
Now
Can
it's
you
now it's
just waste
tilting
him,
me again
please?
because he has
please,
double
please
red.
waste him.
He does have double red, and he would have two lightning bolts. I don't know, man. The snuff out is so confusing.
I mean, he kills Dragon's Rage channelers, I guess. That was probably insane in the mirror, right? Snuff out your... not
why
Dragon's
would you
Rage.
board it
Murktide regions.
in against lands? Did you just
It's
forgot,
main. I
or-
thought it's main.
I think
It
it's
is?
main, yeah.
Yeah.
And
thought
he
so.
just forgot to sideboard it out.
No, yeah.
Well, that's what I asked.
Grixis
It's
list-
2-0.
The Grixis lists usually they're slide splash for just 2 snuff out main.
He does run Thoughtseize main though.
Yep, which I like, which is a good card. Yeah, he has really 2 Thoughtseize, and
There's
then
there's two
snuff out
snuff out
main.
in the main, but you can replace them with, I don't know, a braid.
Right. Yeah, that's the question, right? What else would you have preferred to cut? So he probably cut.
You don't
I don't
cut
know
anything
what,
from the
but
clock.
Maybe the Thoughtseize is on the draw.
No, why?
Yeah, I know, but like.
Thoughtseize is infinity times better than snuff out.
Yeah, I agree.
Even if you're arguing about delirium and the
I
fast
do
clock, you
agree.
can Thoughtseize yourself.
And I mean, he brought in a braid. He brought in True
He
Name.
knows from the list that Lorenzo plays 3 endurance, and that's the only target that.
Oh, maybe actually that's true.
But,
Endurance.
I mean, it's a rather weak. You
Well,
can
if you
point
have-
it at a construct, but it's really weak.
Yeah, but endurances are actually super annoying because if you have like 2
Endurances
Dragon's
are
Rage
annoying, yeah.
channelers
Yes.
and they want to attack, and then there's an endurance,
One
you're
of
gonna
them
cry.
dies and the other one deals 1 damage.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
cry
true.
horribly.
That's true. But don't you prefer to have a Thoughtseize for the endurance in the first place?
I do. I am most definitely doing that. Yes. All right, that was the semifinals, and we're gonna have the finals, I think, coming up shortly. We're gonna be checking in a minute.
Yeah. And this was the last game for me to cast. Mattu is going to cast the final game with Sasha.
Let's see. Maybe as he lives a lot further away, he might have the intention to leave
Oof.
earlier, but I am not sure.
But I'm exhausted.
I can also jump in if I'll stay.
People need to leave.
All right,
Alright.
we will be back shortly.
Yeah,
We don't know who yet, but we will be back.
we'll
for
figure it out
sure.
and be back. Stay tuned if you want to
Alright,
see some
guys.
more magics.
See you in a minute.